Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We've got another episode of LunarCRUSH Live today. Today we've got Ayman Sayed from Zam.io, co-founder, CBO. Before he gets up here, just a disclaimer reminder, we do not take payment for our live stream. We bring on fun, exciting, cool people who have dedicated their lives to the industry and to cryptocurrency. We want to hear their stories. Get in there, ask some questions. We'll see if we can get to those towards the end. I think we've got a lot of content that we want to get to today, but we'll try our best. And then it says in here, salami that subscribe button. So hit that subscribe button. I think we're going to take a little hiatus a little bit over the holidays here, but we might have some fun stuff in store for you. And then I think we've got steady state finance coming up here in a week. Super excited for that. So without further ado, Ayman, what's up, my man?
Hey, thanks, Joe. Thanks, John. I'm very happy to be here. I got some exclusives for you today. So,
let's hold on. Let's hold on to those.
That's a great start.
We'll get as many people in as we can, and then we'll let you. Unless you just have like 100 exclusives, we'll just keep dropping everything.
Well, I got some interesting stuff. I'm just gonna keep it till the end.
I'm sure. Yeah, don't let the content team have stuff to work on over the next couple of months here.
Sure.
So hey man, we always like to start like, who are you? Where are you in the world? What's it like there today?
I'm Ayman Sayed, co-founder of Zam.io, chief business officer. You guys are in sunny California. We have almost a foot of snow here in Moscow today. So I want to talk a little bit about what is Zam.io, how did you get the idea, who's behind it. So without further ado, Zam.io was the original concept started in 2017, 2018. We believe that the world is moving on chain. We wanted to build that project back then, but it was crypto winter. It wasn't the ideal time to enter the industry. So we always wanted to revisit this idea, but first we wanted to build our team, our competency, work with something that we can build our team. So we started with a traditional fintech story. So back in 2019, we started working on our first project, which was Zam.me. It was an idea to start with remittance. So 2019, we started working on a remittance solution between Russia and the CIS countries, with an idea to develop that into a solution for migrants. So migrants are coming to work in Russia, and they can send money to the loved ones across the CIS region. So 2020, we launched that product officially. As of today, we have over 20,000 people that send money from their bank accounts to 50,000 physical locations across the CIS region. Now, beginning of this year, we thought that we're ready to start our vision, to start our dream, to build a global on-chain ecosystem that provides people the opportunity to make money in crypto, that onboards millions and millions of people from around the world, particularly in the developing world, and get them into crypto. We know and we believe in the efficiencies that crypto brings. So 2021, beginning of this year, the founders, we sat together, we said, let's do it. It's the right time to enter the market. We gathered the most talented team that we can get our hands on in Russia and other parts in the world, and we started working on Zam.io. So the idea behind Zam.io is that today there's only about 3% of the world population is in crypto. What about the other 97%? So we want to onboard people, we want to onboard projects, we want to bridge the traditional economy and bring that traditional economy into the crypto space. So how do we do that? We do that by first bridging capital, then bridging users, then we can bridge new projects that are coming into the space. So in short, this is what we're building. Today, the founders are based in Russia, but our team is all over the world. So we have team members in the States, we have team members in Italy, in the UK, in Cyprus, all over the CIS region, in the UAE, and the team is growing every day. So I'm very happy to be here. Got a lot of things to tell you guys.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. Can you just tell us what, like CIS region, like Commonwealth of Independent States, right? Like
Independent
what?
States, so,
Yeah.
so that's the former Soviet Union. So
Okay. So
that's
all the kind of,
Asia, yeah, Central Asia, Ukraine, Belarus. Uh, Today we have significant adoption in Russia, but in other parts of that region, crypto is a completely new thing. So with our other project that we have, with our traditional fintech project, we can onboard people first to banking, get them banked, and then gradually move them into crypto bit by bit.
okay.
Hey,
Very cool.
Ayman, a question about that huge number you threw out of 97% of the world's population not in crypto. Tell us more there. Aside from, building and the technical aspects of what you do, why exactly is 97% of the world's population not participating in crypto?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'll give you an example of my dad, who's an engineer, or my grandmother, right? So my dad is an engineer. He's not in crypto yet. Why? Because it's very hard for him. You have to connect one wallet to one product and then move to another product. And he sees all these graphs and all these charts. It's very hard for him, right? So that's one. If you want adoption, you want to make a product as easy as your everyday bank account app, if not easier, just to make it as accessible, as easy, as simple, but at the same time as powerful as possible. So we have today the products that we have in the crypto space, they're great. I'm not saying nothing, they're great. I use them every day, but at the same time, for the average Joe, they're very hard to use. That's one. Two, there's trust in the industry, right? So we still have lack of transparency. So a lot of projects are trying to become more transparent, but at the end of the day, the space is still not transparent enough. The standards that are set in the traditional economy and the traditional in the traditional finance, we still do not have that in crypto. We're gradually going there, but until we get to the full transparency, the full trust, we're not going to get there. I understand there's a fine balance here between decentralization and DeFi and anonymity, and at the same time being transparent and being compliant. So it's a fine line that we have to navigate very, very carefully. But at the same time, we need to have that balance. And we need to become more transparent as an industry overall. So those are two of the biggest issues that we face today. The third one, I would say, scalability and interoperability. So it's kind of like, everyone's doing one thing, everyone's doing a project, but we don't have a unified standard. So, we have multiple initiatives in the industry that are trying to do so, but then we still, with more interoperability, that you face scalability and vice versa. So if we can find, a solution that's both scalable and at the same time, fast, scalable, interoperable, all these projects can easily talk to each other, work with each other, build a unified system. Then I think if we solve, all three of these issues, I think we have much more adoption in the industry overall.
And before
great answers.
Before we get too much into like the wallet and kind of going down that path, I did want to hear about like your career and your journey into the space, into crypto, and kind of what led you to where you are today. You said, you were in school, like in the States, and you've kind of traveled around. I'd love to hear your story a little bit.
I consider myself an international citizen. So I did my high school in the States, in a Catholic high school in northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area. I lived almost 10 years in Canada, between Newfoundland, did some politics and lobbying work in Ottawa, lived in Toronto, had 3 different startups. One of them was, very successful, had a very good exit. So lived all over the place. Now I came to Russia last year in 2020. How I got into crypto, it was at a party in Canada. So, we're just chilling at this one university party in Canada. And this one random dude came to me. He's like, "Hey, dude, do you know about Bitcoin?" Bitcoin, that's
you want to buy this Bitcoin. And like,
yeah. And I was in tech back then. I had a startup back then. So I was like, "Oh, tell me more about it." So, he started, talking and telling me, "Oh, this is the future." So for me, as a person in tech, it was a very interesting thing, to know about. I was like, "Well, how about we meet tomorrow? let's enjoy the party tonight, but let's talk about tomorrow. So the next day we met. I fell in love with Bitcoin. I knew instantly. I had this one feeling that this is gonna take off. This is gonna change the world, and this is gonna open the door for many other initiatives in the space. This is just the beginning. So I was always into it, but I never traded till 2013 with a friend who's he said, I'm trading, so you wanna throw in some money so with me, and we can just invest in Bitcoin. I was like, oh, here's a couple $100. So anyways, we made another couple $100. I thought I was the coolest person in the world. You can just make instant returns like that. But I started trading in crypto in 2017. Started working in the industry, as a professional for the past 3 years. Worked with one exchange. It was one of the top exchanges earlier. Now dropped a little bit. Been building DeFi products with my partner George, also for other companies. And here we are. We built the first iteration of our project. This is just the very beginning of what we have in mind. One of our investors, when he wrote a recommendation to one of the big VC funds that were talking with us, he said, straight up, the guys, they get things done. They're very aggressive with their approach. So, we come up with an idea, we start refining it, 18, 20 hours a day, sometimes for the past, God knows how much. And then, everyone on the team is the same. So we start working on it, refining it, and then we launch it. So we have an unconventional approach where, in the traditional finance or even with any other company, sometimes things take, months or years to develop. We do things very quickly. And that's why, technically speaking, Zam.io was developed in the past, 7-8 months. So, we developed most of the products that you see today is a product of 7 to 8 months. This is only what users can see. This is what has been released. So, we have a whole set of products that we haven't released yet. We have a strategy to go, to release products, one product at a time. We test them, we feel comfortable with them, and then we release them so that our community always gets something new. We want to have a platform where people can make money in crypto in multiple products, a product that suits their needs, from institutional investors to seasoned traders to just guys who are just holding crypto, all the way to newcomers, the ones that are just hearing the hype in the news and want to know more. So we build a whole set of products. Our structure is very horizontal. So we have different teams that are working on different things, and each team is, specializes in one thing. So the team that's working on NFTs, they've been doing NFTs for quite a while. They're artists, they're crazy artists who like what they do. On the other side, you have the developers who are working on, on the blockchain. They're hardcore blockchain fanatics. So we can afford to do things like that because our team is motivated. We have a very big team, for a project, that's, been for the past 3 years, 1 year actively working. We have a 51 team member, over half of them are developers, plus all the other freelancers. And because the team is motivated, we can be very cost effective. So the team, we build things because we love what we do, because, we believe that we're crypto evangelists, let's put it this way. So we're on a mission, right? So, okay, yeah, the money, everyone wants to make money, but, we can make money investing in crypto, right? So that's not the main objective here. The objective here is to get new people on board, to help adoption, to solve problems that we have in the industry today, and to prove to everyone in the world that this is the future, not just Zam, just overall crypto and blockchain. Just prove how efficient it is. What kind of benefits does it bring? Not just financially, but to humanity overall. Sustainability. So because we're motivated, because we love this, because we want to do this, because we want to achieve this, that's why we can build all these products very quickly, very efficiently.
I can see with a team of 50, your energy is contagious. So I can understand why you have 18 to 20 hours a day with 50 people. So good work, and your passion is authentic. I can tell. And tell George don't stray too far. We got Norman backstage. I want to do the last 10 minutes of this.
George is somewhere around off. I can speak Russian a little bit.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
yeah,
Perfect.
so
So I do want to ask, so how does a DeFi CeFi wallet work? Like, walk us through that user journey. Like, because you don't see, like, you're not just seeing it, like, it seems like you guys are kind of positioning it as like this one thing, where
sure.
sometimes it's kind of separated.
Sure. So the idea here, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, there's a lot of cool products out there in the industry, right? But it's very hard for a regular person to jump from one platform to another, connecting MetaMask. It's very hard. So what we want to do is to bring the best product solutions, right, that are in the crypto space under one roof, on a very easy to use user experience, on an interface that's understandable, usable, even by a grandma. So when we say CeFi and DeFi, so some users like the freedom, like the complete decentralization that DeFi brings, like to keep the keys with them. So we give them DeFi, we give them that option. Some other users that are just coming to the space, they want a much simpler, understandable kind of process. We give them CeFi. So the idea here is that if we can aggregate the best CeFi products, so CeFi exchanges, if we can put thousands of different tokens from different exchanges, connect them in our wallet via an API, right? Be aggregate Binance, Gate, Qcoin, all the best exchanges. Put all the the most interesting token offerings, the thousands of interesting tokens that are out there. Put them, that are listed on CEXs. Put them in CeFi, and then people can just buy that token rather than registering on 50 exchanges. They can just register on one wallet and just boom, one click, boom, you buy your the token that you're interested in. And you want to move in, you want to get out out of your position, get into USDT, and then move in CeFi. Well, you don't have to go and connect multiple wallets. Just send it internally, right? And one other thing is that we want people, when we talk about ease of use today, if I want to send you USDT, for example, Joe, you have to send me your wallet address. For a lot of newcomers, they have no idea what a wallet address is. And believe it or not, this is the fact of what it is. So what if we can do something as send crypto by phone number, for example, right? Have your surrounding, have the people you work with, have them on one platform, and send them as simple as you send a text message. Why can't it be that simple? So we want to unify these two worlds, at least connect them under one roof, bring the best solutions, the best products that there is in the market, put them in the palms of our user, just within reach, right? With 1, 2, 3 clicks maximum, and boom, you have access to this whole world. So from buying, trading crypto, staking, mining, all of that in one place, right? You want to earn in crypto? Here's multiple ways you can do so. So whatever you feel comfortable with, boom, you have it in one wallet. So building that universal wallet is one of the solutions that we have, just to unify this, to solve the problem of fragmentation in the product offerings that we have in the industry today.
Yeah, I think sometimes people forget, just just because we're so into the industry and so into the space, and we have been for years. But I was just talking to a family member yesterday, and they're like, "Hey, I need to start buying some Bitcoin, like, for my kids, or like, I want, I see what's happening now." And he was just like, "How do I get it?" Like, he was literally didn't know like how to get it. I was like, "Oh, you just like download one of like 1,000 apps," and it's like they don't realize. I'm like, "Oh yeah, there's probably like 6,000 to 7,000 like tradable cryptocurrencies out there." They're like, "What?" And it's like, I was like, "Yeah, but like maybe the top like 500 or so are ones that like are, kind of trade a little bit more." But when you think about it, it's like the S&P 500 is only 500 stocks, and 35% of the volume in the S&P is from the top 6. People are like, "Oh, it's just Bitcoin." It's like, well, it's just, Meta, Google, which is now Alphabet. Like, I don't even, there's like 4, Netflix, like it's all the same 4. And it's just interesting.
Do you get that question, Joe, John? What's in your portfolio? right? For newcomers. So what should I buy? What should I buy? I got it. Should I buy Bitcoin? Right? It's always a question like that. Do you get that question?
All the time. But the thing is, it's never, I come back with them and I say, it's never telling you what to buy. It's telling you also what to sell at the right moment. It's easy to make money in this space. It's hard to keep that wealth.
Absolutely.
And the problem is, without the education, they don't know when to buy or sell. They just ape in at the top, and then they complain about losing money. And so I think, like, for example, last Friday night, maybe morning for you, as the market tanked, what an opportunity yet again. And everyone's scared and saying it's going to zero. They all forget to buy.
Yeah. Josh, I woke up, had a meeting with one of the top exchanges in the world. Well, we were having a meeting with one of the top exchanges in the world. So I woke up that day excited. You know what made me even more excited? I opened my phone, looked at CoinMarketCap, saw that the market tanked. First thing, I saw my mother. I told her, Mom, what a great day it is. She's like, why? I was like, the market tanked. And she's like, why? Like that? I was like, because I have an ideal point of entry. And, I just made myself 20% more tokens. For the same money, I can just buy 20% more tokens. Isn't that great?
It's crazy.
So what I wanted to say, why I asked you that previous question, I like that you mentioned, without the education, because the education is a vital role of the entire onboarding process. So what if I tell you, do you think this is a problem right now? The lack of education. There's a lot of articles going on, but the lack of education. When we see how easy it is to learn a new language, but still how inaccessible it is to learn crypto. It's still like an elite group, right? I mean, you can't even learn about crypto in universities, for God's sake. So what if I tell you, John, Joe, that these two questions that we were discussing, what to buy or what to sell, right? And the education. That what if I tell you that we have two products that solve these pain points? Well, what to buy, we have something called intelligent investment portfolios. So these are ready-made investment portfolios made by trading experts. So this can be seasoned traders, this can be funds, this can be our own trading desk, or this can be any trader that proved his performance, right? So they can go in, create a well-balanced portfolio, right, of different tokens, each one based on the type of strategy that he takes. And new users, rather than asking, okay, what should I buy, they can just check a leaderboard, who that portfolio was made by, right? What was the historical performance of that portfolio? How many investors have bought that portfolio, and what's the risk factor involved? What type of portfolio? So they can basically select the portfolio that fits their needs. So any fund in the world that invests in crypto can go in and create a portfolio on our platform. And then when they see that it's the right time to exit, for example, they have 15% Bitcoin, 10% Ethereum, 7% XRP, and so on. So they think they need to get out of a certain position. Boom, they get out of that certain position. Automatically, that portfolio with the investor, just adjust those ratios. So they don't have to worry about, when to buy, when to sell. They have a competent trader that's taking care of that. So the trader there gets 15% of the profits. We get, as a platform, 5%, and the investor, the user himself, gets 80%. So for him, there's very little risks. He's hedging risks because he's not investing in one token that somebody told him Floki is flying, and then he goes and buys it, next day it crashes, right? I'm not advertising any tokens, by the way, I'm just saying. So you have a competent trader that's doing that for him, right? So he's hedging his risk. At the end of the day, this is not a financial advice, but he can make an educated decision based on the information that's presented to him. So that's a product that's coming up within the next month. Another thing for the education part, right? So when I mentioned that we have a product that tailors to every segment, from the institutionals all the way to the people listening to the hype, or that one day will become crypto users. So we started our Babylon Academy. So our Babylon Academy is an information portal on everything crypto and blockchain. So today it's in the format of a website, right? So, well, I was working today on the next iteration of that. So that's a gamified platform where a person can start as a complete newbie and then graduate from that academy as an expert trader. So, we bring in all the experience that we have in the team, we're putting in that product so that we can transfer and share that knowledge that we built over the years with the new users, with the newcomers, whether in trading, whether in just a general knowledge of crypto, all the way to coding and how to build a crypto project. So that's a gamified platform that's very simple to use, that's very user friendly. You get badges, you get interesting things as you move along, you get certificates, and then you can go and brag to your friends that I'm a trader now, or I'm a crypto expert or a crypto history expert, and so on. So this is a product that can help a lot of people just from understanding basic questions, what's the difference between a cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, all the way to talking about bullish divergence and MACDs and building blockchain. So basically just cover the entire just like a course in university. So we believe that without the proper education we cannot onboard. I absolutely agree with you, John. Without the proper education we cannot onboard the millions and the billions of users out there that are interested in getting into the industry.
So this is interesting because there's different aspects of that education. I mean, what you've been talking about was more about trading education and understanding what is Bitcoin, what's an altcoin, what does this thing do, and then I think it's also interesting to say like this blockchain over here has an absolutely outstanding team that just keeps executing, that has a vision for and maybe implementation of like solving global supply chain management, and they've had traction. And I think that's a very different side of it from like what investment portfolio should I follow. It's like Absolutely. Two completely different things. It's both are sort of education, but it's sort of like it just points at like, I'm still thinking of that 97% number you mentioned earlier, and it's like it's interesting because it's like, will that 97% come on as traders, or will that 97% passively use blockchain because it's going to be part of the things they're already doing?
That's a very good point, John. That's a very good
point. And I would argue a little bit, like John's saying, it's like, we're a little biased, obviously, but we would say, understanding community in the industry and what actually is traction in this space, right? Is traction defined as 2 months of Floki Inu just going crazy? Is it defined as, Dogecoin spending 2 to 3 years, more years in existence, and not really making that much of a move until the world's richest man, tweets about it? Like, what defines community and traction and sustained, like, community in the space? Like, obviously we're biased. I did want that copy portfolio portion. I mean, it's just another amazing example of like democratizing opportunity. It's just a hedge fund, like an 80-20 hedge fund, right? And so it's like, but it's happening on a micro level, and it's like scalable across everyone. Like, you create an opportunity for the trader that couldn't get, like, I think back to that great movie where it was like the smaller hedge fund couldn't get their license, they couldn't do anything, and so they were like pushed out of the industry, and they had to find a trader that had a license to do it, and they had like $40 million or whatever it may be. It's like, now you guys are allowing people to enter the industry with such less capital, equaling the playing field, and like, that's massive. And I don't think people realize it's like, it's kind of what we're doing with social metrics. Like, so all the institutions, they're looking at this stuff in some way, shape, or form, right? But that data was not available to the masses. And so when you make that available, it's like that. I feel like that's like the mission of what we're all trying to accomplish.
Really appreciate the kind words. I have to say, I totally agree with you guys regarding education. So just, opening the eyes of people on the applications of blockchain, education, healthcare, logistics, sustainability. So the possibilities are endless. And, thank you a lot for raising this point. I definitely think that we should add that into our education and bringing, experts from all over the world to contribute in that content and just showcase how beautiful, powerful, visionary is the technology itself, and what everyone around the world is doing to get that future. Also, speaking about institutionals democratizing, the democratizing finances. So for institutionals, we have a very interesting product. It's called Zed Morgan. So we took the name from one of the pioneers, JP Morgan. So we're all, so my partner George, we have something here when we talk about Americans. So my partner George says, there's a small American in every piece of us. There's a small piece of America in everyone around the world, because America brought so much. From we all use iPhones, American technology, right? We all like YouTube. We're right now on the internet that's built by America. So going back to institutionals, we know in the States the stock market is $55 trillion plus. So it's it's the biggest chunk out of the global stock market. So we believe that if we want to grow the crypto industry, the blockchain industry, we need to move capital from the traditional economy to the crypto space. So how are we going to do that if the vast majority of big institutional investors are still, they're still on the stock market. They're not into crypto. Yes, they have a small portfolio, relatively small portfolio here and there. But let's compare the $95 trillion stock market and the $3 trillion crypto market. It's 30 something times, right? So if we can just start with 1%, just move 1% of capital from the stock market into crypto, we can add $1 trillion in capitalization. So, why do we need to move capital? People like to go where the money is, right? So if there's more money coming into crypto, we can accelerate adoption. So how can we move money from, let's say, the stock market, right? Institutional investors that are making 5, 10%, 15%, a lot of them are happy what they're doing. They have their corporate office, they're happy with those numbers. Yes, they want more. We're in a capitalist world, but at the same time, for them, that's the risk they want to take, moving into crypto. And then they hear a lot of negative news from, their peers who also do not want to make the transition. And they say, fine, we're staying in the stock. We're doing all right. So how about if we give them a tool that can transition them into crypto market, reducing risks so they can keep their stocks, but at the same time, they can basically duplicate their capital on chain. So how can we do that? So let's take an institutional investor who has, multi-million-dollar holdings in stock assets, right? So we tell them, okay, how about that? You put these assets, you put these stocks in escrow, right? We give you, you put them in escrow. We give you stable coins secured by your stocks as collateral. So basically, the institutional would put these stocks in escrow. We pull real-time valuation via an oracle from, let's say, NASDAQ, and then we give them stable coin with a certain LTV based on the type of stock, how, whether it's blue chips or just a lower performing stock. We give these institutional stable coins. So we assume that they're competent investors, because if you invest in the stock market, crypto is basically the same thing. Yes, there's a little bit more volatility, but it's the same fundamentals, same technical analysis. So you can invest in crypto. If you're competent, you can make money in crypto. You know when to enter, when to exit. You can make money in crypto while you keep your stocks that are still growing, hopefully growing, while they're in escrow account. You're still getting your dividends. So you make money in crypto and you make money in the stock market. So this way we can seamlessly transition these institutionals into the crypto space, and bit by bit they're gonna increase their holdings into crypto. So what's in it for us, and how does that affect our token? So since it's a loan in stable coins, at the maturity rate of that loan, this institution will pay back the loan plus a certain interest rate that has to be paid in Zam. in our own utility token, that Zam has to be bought from the free market. So, imagine institutionals. So, one of the smallest institutionals are holding what? Tens of millions of dollars. So, every time they have to pay an interest rate, they have to go and buy Zam from the free market. So that puts there's going to be less and less Zam available for purchase. It's, that's going to put it in a scarcity position. And then, that would affect the token price, because they're scarce. The institutionals are buying all these tokens to pay back the interest rate on their loans. So that's a product that, we're working on. We're very excited to bring that to the US. Now, the biggest challenge for a product like that is not the technology, is not the partners, it's the compliance side.
Right.
But if the compliance is heading in the right direction, I think we're going to have all the legislation that's required. I think we're reaching that point in the US and other parts in the world. We're starting to see politicians and governments, they'll have to adopt that, or else they're going to be left behind, and then we're going to have complete chaos. So I think that we're getting there with legislation, and we're waiting for that moment, for the right point of entry, and to showcase, here's Zed Morgan. We already have the partners, we already have the technology, we already have all the concept, the documentation is ready. It's just a matter of when do we introduce that product, because we want to be 100% compliant, because we want to be playing within the rules of the regulation. So as soon as we see regulation getting close to the point where something like this is feasible, we're going to introduce that, and we want to bring that to the US.
That's a crazy product, and it's like, just to reframe it, you said duplicate. You're duplicating the stocks onto, like, you're just giving a loan, right? So I would reframe that to not, because I think in crypto a lot of times we get people say like, oh, you're just, people are just making up money, but really it's just a transfer of wealth, right? Like, anyone can launch any sort of token. It doesn't mean that it gives, like, there's no value there, right? Until like the market deems it to be, right? Absolutely. So talk a little bit about, like, how would you, so like, I'm just assuming, hey, I have a Fidelity account and I have $1 million in my 401k, and I have that in Tesla and, some crazy like American funds that charge me a crazy expense ratio that like you forgot about because your employer did it, and then you can't roll it over because there's 1,000 phone calls that you have to make, and so you just don't, and so now you have 100 accounts. Not speaking from experience. And so you have this happen to you, and then you're like, okay, like, I want to basically put that in some sort of escrow. You need to be working with Fidelity in some way to do that, like not security. So you're putting that in some sort of escrow. Now you're sending me the USDC or USDT in my Zam account. And so as those kind of like those stocks are going up and down, are you lowering or increasing the amount of leverage that they're able to have, or in real time?
Absolutely, Joe. It's a good question. So, we want to protect ourselves as well. So, if it reaches to a certain LTV, first we send the warning that, you're approaching your LTV limit, and then
margin call.
Yeah, exactly. I like to use very simple words. I'm an economist myself, but I like to use very simple words so that everyone can understand what we're talking about.
We don't need to reinvent the wheel here. It's the same thing as Tesla when they were like, this car has this many kilowatt hour like per foot output. And people are like, what? And they're like, it has 400 horsepower. And they're like, okay, I'll buy it.
Exactly. So the idea here is not to liquidate no one, right? The idea here is to give them an opportunity to get into crypto. And this product is first, for institutionals. Before, yes, we want to move it to retail investors, but first, this is for institutionals. So, here, it's just a transfer of stocks, from one broker to another broker, where, the second broker would act as an escrow. Right. So, it's not a very complicated process. It's more a question about compliance and regulations, right? Because you're moving from one jurisdiction to another jurisdiction. You have to make sure that everything works together, with no issues whatsoever. So talking about how it works, if the price of the stock, drops below a certain level, then we give them a warning, and then if it drops to a level close by to 1-to-1, then we liquidate, because we also have to think about slippage. If the market is dropping very quickly, we need to liquidate before we start losing money. But given that we're working with institutionals first, given that we want to start with blue chips, so the risks involved are way less than talking about stocks that are extremely volatile in times where the market is extremely volatile. So we want to reduce the risk, make a proof of concept, proof that this works, and then move to other stocks and move to retail investors afterwards.
I like it. Although I might just want to invest in the meme coin pink sheet version of this, which might be more interesting.
It's
limited to pink sheets and meme coins alone. Can you imagine the amount of margin calls that would happen like every single day?
Insane.
You have 5x leverage. You have negative 5x. You wash out, like liquidate.
Absolutely. Joe, we're not here to go and make calls for people. We give them options.
Right.
We give them options. We give them an opportunity. And at the end of the day, they're the ones. What's beautiful about crypto is it puts back the power in the hands of people, right? They can do whatever they want. They have, basically they can trade whenever, they can use it however they want. You want to, go and use Doge just to go and, play poker with your friends? It's up to you, right? No one tells you what to do. So, you can send $1 trillion, overseas. It's up to you, right? But we give people options. We give them an opportunity to earn, an opportunity to access the market, and everything else, it's what the users want. And speaking about opportunity, speaking about access, democratization, that's one of the first exclusives I wanna announce today. We're working on Zam.io. So we have a vision to have DAO in the future as a completely decentralized autonomous organization. We want decision making to be in the hands of our users, our community, the token holders, and we want them. Why are we building this? We're building this for them. We're not building it for ourselves. Yes, we love what we do, but at the end of the day, they trusted us with their investments, with them buying token to build them the products that they need, that they want to use every day. So that's why we have a vision to transform Zam.io into this decentralized autonomous organization. So we started working on that. One of the first applications of that DAO would be in two spaces. In one, we have a launchpad that's coming up, a completely decentralized, a completely autonomous, automatic launchpad, all the way from the form that the project makes, all the way down to distribution, with no human factor whatsoever involved. It's all on smart contracts. It's all automated. So basically, the community has, says what he wants on the launchpad, what he wants to buy, and what kind of projects do we add to our ecosystem. The second one is with our Zam Ventures. So we're starting Zam Ventures. Also, it's a decentralized VC where basically token holders basically tell us what to invest in and where to take that where the future of Zam lies. So this is how this is the first steps. This is the first exclusive. Another exclusive that I would like to tell you is our NFT marketplace. So we have our own exclusive NFT collection. It's an algorithmic NFT. I'm not going to talk a lot about the mechanics. I'll just leave it, we can talk for hours about this. I'll leave it to due time. But we have an NFT collection, a very unique NFT collection with a very unique use case. So there's two types of NFTs. One is an algorithmic NFT that has a certain use case in our DAO. So if you hold that NFT, you have a certain superstar position because you're, a hardcore believer in Zam and in what we're doing. So you can get an NFT and you can get that unique position in the ecosystem yourself, with unique functions that you can use in the DAO. So that's one type of NFT that we have. The second time is a boutique NFT. So we're opening an opportunity for all the artists out there to go and show the world their creativity, and we help them with our community, with our network, with our investors, to showcase their art and share their art with the world.
Wow.
So question about the DAO. So you were mentioning earlier you have 50 something employees, assuming it's a corporation that's set up, and you're introducing a DAO. Does this mean that the entire organization is transitioning itself out, or is the DAO kind of working alongside this entity?
It's alongside. So, you know, it's what we provide is we provide the technology, we provide the tools. So, you know, we're not going nowhere. We're on the opposite. We're expanding what we're doing. But, you know, the end result has always, you know, the decisions, it has always to have to come from the community. The community is the one that we're just the workers here. We're the ones that build things. But, you know, we give people what they want. You know, sometimes people want different things, but at the same time, you know, they're the users. They're the ones who are paying money. They're the ones who are generating the trends. So give them what they want. And we are the ones who are providing those tools. We're the ones who are giving them access. We're the ones who want to democratize this space and put more power in the hands of the population, in the hands of users. And if we provide such opportunities, I'm pretty sure that a lot of more people will have more trust, because, you know, it's not some guy that's, you know, completely hidden behind the computer, and it's everything's transparent, and the decision making is in their hands, not ours, right?
So that gets into the question of, like, you know, proposals and governance and voting. And so I guess maybe you have some thoughts around that, but I'd be curious, you know, if you have this organization that's a company and you have this DAO, can someone submit a proposal that makes changes at the company, or are there sort of guardrails for what can be proposed, and they can say, hey, I want to change yield on this thing, I want to change supply on this thing? Is it kind of isolated what they can actually vote on? What does that look like?
In the future, you know, obviously we're going to do what's, you know, also we're a business at the end of the day, right? But in the future, as you know, as the product matures, as we go further in time, right, we're going to give more power. So, you know, with business decision making, you know, it's not a, you know, we're still not there, and the industry is far from there. But we believe in that future. At some point in the future, I think this is a model where a lot of organization, rather, you know, they're going to go more towards decentralization, just, you know, tailoring to their users. So, you know, in the first steps, we want to take, you know, baby steps. You know, it's a balance. Again, everything that we do is a balance, right? So we just can't go and, you know, create this one insane model that still, you know, still has to mature. So we take baby steps, one step at a time. Let's give people one feature, test it out, see how it works, how it affects the business, how it affects the industry, and then we introduce more and more and more and more features. And it's like a, you know, it's like a think about it as a building, right? You just don't go and build the last, you know, the last floor, the first thing, and then everything else is a skeleton. You build one floor at a time, take it one step at a time, and then once you reach that top floor, you know, floor 1000, right? That's when, you know, you build that building and you achieved your vision.
Yeah. And I want to bring Norman up here too, to do the last couple minutes in Russian as well. And while I do that, I mean, when you talk about when you talk about the DAO and you talk about decision making, you know, it's like, it's interesting because, you know, if you have someone like, hey, we're going to put this proposal up, and, you know, the governance is that you can spend marketing wallet to an unlimited amount. It's like, there's interesting things that happen when you under the veil of anonymity on the internet. Like my example is always like Bodie McBoatface, you know, when I think the UK said like, hey, you can name our next naval ship, and it was Bodie McBoatface, right? So it's like, those same folks are the same people that would be like, hey, we're going to sell the entire marketing wallet and buy a mega yacht, and just like everything now is like ruined, you know? So it's like, how do you prevent long-term, but like, when is it ready? Like, cause we're just creating a bunch of constitutions is what we're doing. And it's like, we have some things from the past to learn from, but we want to iterate. But like you're saying, it can't be like, hey, here's this brand new thing without even looking at history at all.
So I hear what you're saying. So I got two things here. First, they're the taxpayers, so they can say what they want. They want to call it whatever they want to call it.
Hey, I loved it. I love the name.
Right? But you're right in one thing. So I think as we develop more as as human beings, as the culture is getting more developed, more accustomed, I think people will understand. I mean, we have democracy in society, at least we believe we have, right? And sometimes democracy doesn't bring the best results, but at the end of the day, that's what the people want, right? So I think as time goes by, as people understand the model further and the implications, I think everyone will be more ready to adopt this DAO approach. Again, we're not doing something just boom instant, but we see that in the future, as the industry develops, as more adoption comes. I mean, today, because there's 3%, and usually people who participate in governance, it's just a small fraction. But
Right.
as we have a bigger sample size of who's participating, I think decision making is gonna be much more let's put it this way, much more educated, right? And the one thing you mentioned, Boaty McBoat, that was kind of like a troll type of thing, when you talk about people.
That's what the internet does, though.
Absolutely. But once we talk about, if they're holders, they're gonna do what they think that's best for, for their financial well-being, right? So, they're gonna think twice about every single decision that they make, right? And we're gonna try to prepare people as much as we can. And this is not the imminent future. We're talking about long term. We're talking about maybe a decade or so before we reach a future where DAO is something that you can use basically in any industry, in any corporation, right?
Yeah. No, I love
it's also, it's also kind of like we have to understand, because if people are voting on like an ecosystem of one thing or another, it's kind of like, you can't have, if someone were to join the military, tomorrow, you don't want to give them the keys to the kingdom. They don't get to run the military. But if someone's been in there for, 40 years of their life and they know how everything works, you want them running it. And so it's kind of like, that's where I think there's a lot of challenge, because it's sort of like if someone buys their way in and has a lot of money and all of a sudden they get a lot of votes, yet they know nothing about what they're talking about, that's extremely dangerous. Because so it's almost like like a trust score, elements to look at over time, over a very long period of time. Those are the people you want creating proposals that have the best intentions.
Absolutely. If you have the right mechanisms in place, hey, that's why every different democracy is different from the other one, right? You have a different approaches for each democracy, right? The end result is you all want participation, you all want access and giving the people a say, but at the same time you have these mechanisms where you want to make sure it's a level playing field. You want to make sure that everyone can access equally. You want to make sure that everyone has an equal say. You want to make sure that the best proposals and the best ideas are always heard, because you can have somebody that's very loud but has a horrible idea, but then you have somebody that's very quiet but he has a brilliant idea. Right. You want to make sure that both have equal opportunity, right? So it's all about the mechanism, and that's why we don't want to move into this model tomorrow. I think we need to understand, develop, refine, work with other people, just to have these mechanisms in place. And then I think, with time, people are going to be more ready, with something like that. So again, this is something in the future. I've heard a lot of arguments and counter arguments about DAO in general, about the whole idea of whether all people should have equal votes and equal. There's a lot of ideas there, but we cannot, until we reach that point of adoption, until we reach that point of the industry maturity, we cannot just transition everything. No one likes, just rapid changes. We like to take steps, incremental steps. Let's put it this way, incremental steps. And then, start, first of all, the biggest challenge right now is to get all of our, products that people need today out. and then start introducing visionary products and start placing our mark, placing our ideas in how this industry is going to develop. That's at the later stage. Right now, it's building our product, it's focusing on our product, it's giving people amazing products that they can use on daily basis, they can earn, that they can invite their friends, their family members, tell them, hey, look, crypto is great. Showcase what kind of applications do we have industry-wide. How can we involve education, how we can involve logistics, how we can involve healthcare, how we can play a role in sustainability, and so on. And then we reach governance. Governance is a very philosophical kind of topic at this stage. Yeah. But I do believe that the future lies in decentralization, having more access, more democracy, and get people participating.
Right. And Ayman, now that and I appreciate that, yeah, and it's a malleable state and it needs to be adjusted. We just got about 5 minutes left, and I got Norman up here. And now that the last month we've had about 2 million visitors coming from Russia, we've had 150,000 from Estonia, we've had 80,000 from Latvia. We wanted to just have Norman ask a couple questions here in Russian, if you will, Norman. And you can bring George back too.
Hey, Ayman. Hey, listen, Joe, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to allow myself to practice broken Russian.
I was like, actually right now, I was like, are you speaking Russian? Did something happen last night? I'm understanding what you're saying right now.
You're understanding everything that I'm saying. Слушай, у меня один вопрос, самый главный. Знаешь, это очень интересно, что вы строите криптокомпанию в России. Вы можете поговорить немножко на тему, как этот процесс был, как люди в Москве, как люди в России чувствуют про крипто, как они, знаешь, как легко, как тяжело это, знаешь, как это было у вас? How was your journey through this process?
Давай скажу так. Мне сначала русский это не первый язык, это мой, первый язык, который я учил там в детстве, я там между Запад, там разные страны, вот. Здесь в России люди используют крипту. Это мне был такой, сюрприз, когда я приехал сюда 2 года назад, вот. Все вокруг меня, там, в моем возрасте, даже следующее поколение, все или они знают про крипту, или у них есть портфель, или у них есть как минимум кошелек. Здесь люди используют крипту, и они видят ценность в крипту, они видят, что это будущее. Вот. Для меня, чтобы построить такой проект в России, это было намного легче, чем построить такой проект в Канаде. Почему? Есть очень много талант, могу сказать, один из такой самый лучший талант, который я видел в мире, в крипту. Вот. И технически, и понятие крипту, и понятие финанс. Люди тоже здесь, у них такой entrepreneurship spirit большой. Вот. Все хотят там строить такие проекты. И для них это, они хотят показать мир, что вот у нас в России технология прекрасная. Вот. Joe, I want to translate here just because it's a valuable point here, what Norman said. Norman asked me here, how was the experience building a crypto project here in Russia? So when I came 2 years ago, I was surprised by, first of all, everyone our age or younger basically either knows about crypto or knows somebody that knows about crypto, right? Or has a wallet or has a portfolio or does something. Right, so a lot of people, adoption here is great in crypto, especially in the in the younger generations. So when we were building this product, I was telling Norman that if I wanted to build something like that in Canada, it would have been much harder. Why? Because one, it would have been way more expensive. So here, given that I like the exchange rate here, you can you can be very cost effective with building a product like what we're building. So in Canada, it would have costed me at least 5 or I don't know, 10 times more even, right? So, and the other thing is the amount of talent that you have here in Russia. It's insane talent. You have some of the best minds in the world, both as developers, as people who have crypto experience, financial experience, mathematicians, economists, and it's all within reach. And everyone is motivated. Everyone wants to showcase what they have. Everyone's has this entrepreneurship spirit. So it was great. I was like, this is amazing. You can build all of these things, in Russia, and and bring that to the world. So I'm very happy that I got in 2 years ago. I never expected that I'm gonna be building a product on this scale, discussing ideas like these ideas that we have discussed today in Russia. I'm very gladful that my two partners, George and Ilya, they're on the same page, and they're just as insane as I am, where they want to push this. One other thing, I'm half Lebanese, so my partner is Jewish. So Ilya is Jewish. So we not only build bridges between the traditional finance and the crypto world. We're building bridges between nations, between cultures. So we have team members, in the States. We have team members at the same time, somewhere in Siberia. We have team members who are in Italy. We have team members in Palestine. We have team members who are in Israel. We have team members in the UAE. So it's all over the world. And that's the beauty of crypto. It brings us all together for a mutual goal, for a mutual direction where we want the world to head.
Yeah. Well, appreciate that. And yeah, I'll never forget when John and I were at a LA blockchain summit in like 2017 or 2018, and we're in this room, and it's like someone dressed as like a cowboy with their shirt off, someone like dressed like, women, men, all different ages, like guy coming in with a cane. And we were just like, what is tying all of these people together? That they don't care about any differences. They don't care what someone's dressed like. They don't care anything. What they know, though, is that they're all connected through the way they're thinking about the world and the way they see the world. And there was no boundary. There's no culture. There was nothing. It was just, this was the new culture. And then it's like, well, I guess as I'm saying that, John, you were always kind of talking like Bitcoin is religion, right? It's like this new thing that people are saying, okay, if we can agree on that, everything else washes away.
I think we saw that in Miami this year.
Yeah. Yes, I would. I think just maybe Miami is just like that. Like it's just the city. Something's happening there.
I want to have an invitation for you guys. Once you come to Russia, please be in contact. We'd love to show you around. We'd love to show you the blockchain community here, and showcase what Russia has still bring to the world when it comes to it's not only AK-47s and vodka. It's also I don't know, we're the family show. Apologize for that.
Oh, you're fine. I swear constantly on here. No, we would love that. Yeah, and Norman's always talking about talent and creative coming out of that part of the world, and it was awesome, man. Well, we did an hour. I appreciate you coming on and telling us, and congrats on the launch with the, the announcement of the DAO and the NFT marketplace. And, Norman, thanks for coming on and speaking some broken Russian and hanging out with us. And John, as always, dude, this was super fun. Ayman, congrats on everything. We will chat with you backstage here, and everyone out there listening. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Check them out at Zam.io. We'll see you all in the next one.
Thanks a lot, guys.